If you are a content creator, you are in a perfect position to write a book. You already have a clearly defined audience. You already know the topics that interest them, and you're already creating content and getting feedback on it. But writing a book is not the same as creating content. And if you try to approach it as such, you're going to be sorely disappointed, my friend, because the things that make you win in the algorithm doesn't necessarily translate to the written form. Different medium. Sure, you know how to organize your thoughts to write out a YouTube video script or a LinkedIn article, but that is not a book. And sure, you can organize your thoughts so that you could put together an audio podcast, but that doesn't make it an audiobook. So in this video, I'm going to break down 5 ways that writing a book is very different from creating content, plus give you the right mindset and strategies so that you can transfer your content creation skills into writing a book that readers are going to love. I'm Denise Renee, your business book bestie. Here is my signature book, and these are some of my clients. I help professionals write books that make their business, career, or thought leadership brand visible. This video is about book writing strategy. So let's jump in. So if you've ever thought about taking some of your content and turning it into a book, this video is for you. I've put timestamps down below in the description so that you can easily navigate the video. But I hope that you'll watch the whole thing for full context. Now, first up, in comparing writing a book and creating content. When you're creating content, you are fighting for your life, fighting to get attention in the algorithms. When you've written a book, your buyer has literally bought in. You don't have to fight for their attention, but you do have to fight to keep it. So when you're creating content, you have to think about SEO, titles, hooks, thumbnails, especially visual hooks, rehooking, all of that kind of stuff. And some of those things do definitely play into the written format, but it's not so much of that frantic energy. Once someone has already agreed, so to speak, they've bought your book, they're now sitting down to read it or listen to it as an audiobook, they've already bought into the concept. They've already bought into the promise that the title provides. Your job is to make sure that everything in that book delivers on the promise that you made. You make a promise in the title, in the subtitle, in the blurb on the book. The minute that you stray from that, you're going to lose your reader. And then your reader's not going to trust you when they see your name again on another book or someplace else in the social media sphere. They're going to have a feeling like this person did not deliver on their promises, so I really don't want to pay attention to anything that they have to say. Another thing to consider is that when it comes to content, we're thinking about catching people's attention and constantly rehooking their attention and giving them these little dopamine hits like they're 5. But when people sit down to read a book or listen to an audiobook, that's not the experience that they're looking for. They know that reading takes time. They know that listening takes time. They're there because they want to spend more time with you. As an author, they want to spend more time learning and knowing about this concept, especially and particularly nonfiction thought leadership books. So usually these types of books are intended to help people with something in particular. And this serves as setting you up as that thought leader in their mind. But as a content creator, you may have a couple of different content buckets, and you might not be sure which of these content buckets you should go down and turn into your book. Or maybe you've decided, hey, I'll just have different series. But what topic within this particular vertical does my audience really want to hear more about? Or you may be thinking about, how can I make this a very different experience than what they may have already gotten in my content? If you're struggling with those types of questions and you're not sure how to get started picking the right content to convert into a book, I help walk you through this process in my resource called 4 Steps to Start Writing Your Book. Starting to write your book is as easy as listening to a podcast episode and filling in the blanks in a worksheet. So let me help you get started writing your book the easy way by heading over to writingwithdeniserenee.com/4 steps and download your copy today. And let's get started working on your book. Now, the second way that writing books is not like creating content. Well, when you're creating content, sound bites rule. We all know a good 30-second clips can make its rounds around the internet. Well, that doesn't quite work in a book. Like I said earlier, they're coming for a longer experience. People are coming to a book for substance, not sound bites. So if you like to make sure that you're always getting in the clever, quippy one liners or the quick hot takes, those might be fine sprinkled in throughout the book, but you cannot have an entire book filled with quippy one liners. It has to be a more substantive experience for your readers. So think about the types of content that has performed well, maybe as a listicle or maybe as a 10 slide carousel. If people kept swiping through that, very likely each of those slides or each of the steps in that listicle could become their own chapters. Those are great opportunities to further flesh out concepts around these, add more stories, real world experiences, or case studies. Go deep. You can make your book as long as you want to, as long as you make it enjoyable for your reader. They'll read it all. Listen, I read Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy in high school, unassigned, all 800 something pages of it, and I enjoyed it. Now, I'm not saying you need to write a book as long as Anna Karenina or War and Peace, but I just want to emphasize that when people are into a story or when they're into a book, they'll stay to the end. So make your book worth reading. Is there anything about writing a book that has you nervous or you want me to expound a little bit more on? Let me know down in the comments below. Okay, so the next way in which writing a book and creating content are not the same. Creating content is kind of like having that quick coffee date. Meanwhile, writing a book is like that honeymoon vacation. Now, I know that in the dating sphere, there's so much debate online about whether or not people want to go on coffee dates. Now, let me tell you something. I personally don't have a problem with a coffee date. It's quick, it's in and out, and you get a little sample of the person's personality and you get an idea of what would it be like to spend 2, 3, 4 hours with this person. Because if I can't spend 30 minutes with you, baby, I'm not going anywhere where I feel like I'm stuck for 2 or 3 hours. Okay? So content is kind of like that. It's that quick coffee date, that quick dopamine hit, that quick little sample, that coffee and a cookie. That was really nice. It's pleasant. I think I might come back here for an entire meal. It's that introduction to who you are and what it is that you do. But once someone is buying your book, baby, they are married, okay? They have bought in, they have said, I do, and now they want to sit down and spend time with you. Now, as a divorced person, I will say I thoroughly enjoyed my honeymoon. It was that nice stretch of time away from the world. My honeymoon was on a cruise ship, so we were really away from the world. Nobody could reach us. It was a period of time that we really got to spend with each other. And that's what your book is like. It's that opportunity to deepen the relationship with you as an author, as with you as their new thought leadership guru, as their new guide, as their new mentor, maybe even possibly their new coach or consultant. Okay? Because these are the kinds of relationships you want to establish as an author. Your book is opening the door to those type of customer relationships, or maybe even an employed situation, a highly paid employed situation. So this is not the place to hold back anything. Put all of your best stuff in your book. Put that methodology in there. Give them your best tips, tricks, and strategies. Put the diagrams in there. Everything. Because here's the thing. People will read and experience a book, and a very small portion of them will go ahead and implement everything that you said. Most won't. They'll likely want to either hire you as their coach or their consultant or buy another product or service from you or join your community and get more of you to help them through the process that you've laid out in your book. So just like the honeymoon is that extended period of time where you get to know your partner on a deeper level, and then it's the gateway to a long lasting relationship. Hopefully y'all don't get divorced like I did. But you get my point, right? It's the gateway to a long lasting relationship with new people in your community. So give that book everything that you've got. Don't hold back. The fourth way that writing a book is not like creating content is content can be rather ephemeral. But writing a book, baby, we're talking longevity. You already know as soon as you post something, if that thing does not take off within the first 2 hours, forget it. No one is going to see that post. The only platform where you have an opportunity for your content to grow over time or people to discover it later is on YouTube because YouTube functions more like a search engine. And when somebody comes to your channel, it's very, very easy for them to go down the rabbit hole and see what else you got. But for the most part, X, Threads, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, once your content doesn't get pushed within those first few hours, it's dead on arrival. The beauty about a book is that this is legacy. Your book is available forever. As long as libraries exist, as long as the internet will exist, your book can go out of print, but some copy of it somewhere is going to live and exist. And people can reference it, especially if you got a good family and you teach your children about intellectual property and being able to renew those copyrights and keep it in the family estate and all that kind of stuff. Baby, legacy. Okay. So don't just think about what your book can do for you today or right now or over the next year in your business. And like I'm always saying, don't just plan on being a one book wonder. Plan for series of books. The more books that you write, the more you get to grow your audience wider and deeper. And it also deepens people's perception of you as an authority, as a thought leader. I mean, imagine when you have 5, 6, 7 books within a certain industry or within a certain topic, it's like you, Muhammad Ali, baby, the undisputed champion. And what does Muhammad Ali have? A legacy. Mm-hmm. All right. And number 5, because I just like to travel, let's go with another travel metaphor, shall we? So while creating content can be like advertising a great Hawaii vacation, writing a book is like being on that great Hawaii vacation. So most of our content is there to help us build trust with the reader. But at the end of the day, we want them to do something. We want them to join our email list. We want them to get our free thing. We want them to get our $37 ebook. We want them to buy our book, right? We're advertising. We're trying to get our audience off of the social media platform and into our communication funnel so that they can then become a member of our community, purchaser of our products and services, etc. But once they've bought the book, again, like I said earlier on, like going on that honeymoon, now we're here ready to spend that extended time. So one of the things that you don't want to do in your book is you don't want to just try to keep selling them. Your book will naturally sell you, but you don't want to use it as blunt force sales trauma to the head. I remember buying this book years ago from some person, and it was just one elongated sales pitch, and it was so unpleasant. And because they were just like literally every page badgering to get you to buy their program, and it was like, I feel like a $2,000 coaching program or something. I was just like, why did you write this book? Because you literally told me nothing in this book. Nothing was really actionable. It was all like, well, it's behind the paywall here. You pay me $2,000 and then I'll tell you really how to do this thing. I was just like, this was such a waste of my time, waste of my $5. I'm never buying from you. And you don't want to create that experience for your reader. Like I said, a couple tips back, you want to give everything that you have. Share everything because most people are not going to do it. Okay. They're going to want to hire you. They're going to want to spend more time with you. They're going to want to join your community. They're going to want to get you to hand walk them through whatever it is that you hand walk them through. And it's okay to have a CTA in the book, but make sure that CTA is not necessarily to a paid product. It should be to something that helps them experience the book on a deeper level. Your book should be focused on helping the person solve one specific problem. So the free thing that you offer, your CTA in the book, can be, hey, I have this cool workbook that goes along with this book, or hey, I have these free interviews that I did that you can access that relates to the book. Hey, I have this additional PDF resource that you can download. Whatever the case may be, make sure it's free. It's something that they have to exchange their email with you in order to get, so that now you can email them and nurture them on a continuous basis. But it should not be this pushy, hard sell. Your book is a product in and of itself. And your book, like I said earlier, should deliver on the promise that your title makes, that your subtitle makes, that all of the descriptions of the book make. Satisfy the reader's curiosity. Satisfy what they came there to get, and don't oversell. Your generosity in your book is going to sell you for you. And here is a bonus tip. It's not necessarily a comparison, but I want to make sure that I bring this to the forefront. One of the most important things that you can do as a nonfiction business book author, as a thought leadership author, is to include more stories, include more of yourself. Whether they are personal stories of your experience of how you came up with the solution that you are offering in the book, or how you work with other people and help them come to a particular transformation that you're helping the reader to get. So you may have a particular system, it can have a cool acronym and all of the things. But people don't just want systems. They want you. They want to see it in action. They want to see the process. So stories help people relate more to whatever it is that you are sharing or selling. So share those client testimonials, share more of your personal experiences, share behind the scene moments, all of the things. The more that you share from personal experience, the more people will know that you didn't just use AI to write this book. And it gives people someone to relate to and something to grip onto. Because even though you're writing a nonfiction business book, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have to touch your reader on an emotional level. It absolutely does. Yes, people need to know you in order to be aware of who you are and what you do, but they gotta like you and they gotta trust you. And those are emotions. Granted, yes, trust is built on facts. Trust is built on what they're able to see and able to prove of you. But again, it's still a feeling. And without people liking you and without people trusting you, they're just not going to have enough to decide to work with you in the future. So put as many stories as you can into your book, or at least make sure that you have a lot of yourself, a lot of your presence, so that people have a sense of knowing you as the author. And as a content creator, you've probably shared tons of stories throughout your content. What were some of the stories that got you the best reactions and best responses? Don't be afraid to reshare those stories. Even if you have a super fan who's heard it all before, they would love hearing it one more time. And then there'll be so many people who are new to you and who are just discovering you who've never heard these stories. So don't hold back. Let me know what challenges you may be having with thinking through how to get started writing your book from some of your content. Drop it down in the comments and be sure you check out this video. Click on it now, and I'll see you on the other side.